I was just like, man, can you cut my arm off? Like, if it hurts this bad, if I don't have the arm, like it's not gonna hurt because it's not there.
Hello, it's Jackie the Scientist, your friendly neighborhood scientist. I have here Pearl.
I am Pearl, on social media, brown_pearls. Um, yeah, I am a sickle cell warrior.
You kind of share a journey of like your diagnosis. So like when you first knew that you had sickle cell.
Born in West Africa, I'm Liberian. So it's just early memory of being in Liberia and just how my siblings were treated a little differently than I was. I would get sick. I go to the hospital. My grandma would be with me and get back home. We had a nurse or a nanny that would be with us, and my parents were there, but it was just, I couldn't do as much. So my brother's more activities, and my dad was like, oh, you can't do contact sports. You can't do this. So he taught me how to play tennis. My brother, I always try to match him. So I have an older sister, 6 years apart, and then there's me, and then there's, so if he rode his bike, I was like, okay, I'm ride bike. He's playing football with his friends. Okay, can I play?
Right.
But with that, I would get sick. And when I get sick, they're like, we told you don't do that. Stay inside. And then I learned how to skateboard one year. And I remember I fell on my tailbone and I had crisis for like a week. And that was the last time I got a skateboard.
Oh, no.
So I didn't really know, okay, what is sickle cell until my dad and I came to the US. And I got so sick and I had to be like maybe 6. He was out doing his thing. Somebody was doing my hair and I had crisis like head to toe. And I just remember like just crying. He came, started praying for me. Let's go to the hospital. But everything hurt. And I was just like, man, can you cut my arm off? Like, if it hurts this bad, if I don't have the arm, like it's not going to hurt because it's not there. But I think that was just like a core memory of how much pain I was in.
It's briefly your day-to-day with having sickle cell.
Some days are good. Good meaning I won't need Tylenol, or I feel whatever pain I may have. If I'm stiff or if it's like, achy pain, I can handle it. So some days are good where I'll just kind of go through the motions and just not take medicine, just take my regular medications that's not pain related. And then other days, I'll need a Tylenol. I'll need to probably stay in bed a little longer or stretch before I get out of bed. Or I may need something prescribed, something stronger to help me throughout my day.
And when you say pain, can you kind of describe to us kind of like what this pain you're referring to is?
Okay, so today was the day I needed something prescribed. So I woke up and my back is just like radiating from my spine, just like all the way out, just hurts. Or sometimes it's like my hip, I'm limping a little bit when I first wake up. So that pain can vary. So it can be something that radiates where it's just like you're stiff, it hurts, it feels like you can't bend over, or it's something, if it's really bad, it's something that's like throbbing,
Right.
or like being hammered, a nail in your bone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think when people who have sickle cell, they describe the pain, they know what they're going through, obviously, because they feel it. But everyone else is like, pain, what kind of pain?
It's so hard to put into words.
I bet.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this impacts your energy levels?
To store my energy. I have friends who are like, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this. I'm like, wait, I can make one event. I can't do 3 or 4 because then I know when you guys go back home, you'll be fine the next day. You'll recover. But for me, I'll be out for like another week. So I always tell my family, like when people go to bed at night and you get 8 hours of sleep, you wake up on 10. You're full. Your tank is full. If I go to bed and get 8 hours of sleep, I start off at 5. So I'm already like my energy is already depleted and I'm just kind of powering through the day.
Yeah. So any medications, medical trials that you've been a part of or you've heard of or?
So hydroxyurea has been the constant since 16. So off and on, I'll go back to it. For the most part, I think it helps. I still get crisis, and I think people think that once you're on hydroxyurea, you won't get sick anymore. It just kind of helps so you don't get sick as much. I was in the hospital August. Before that, I was in the hospital since February. So 6 months apart from hospitalization isn't bad. It used to be like monthly. So 6 months, I'll take 6 months and mini crisis over every single month I'm in the hospital. Years ago, my doctor, my hematologist, prescribed Indari. It's a powder substance. And also it's supposed to help L-glutamine. It's oral powder. And I know people who lift and work out, you can also buy it from GMC and they take that for recovery.
We're kind of like looking into like relationships. Is this something that you have to like put in my mind? Like, I have to
so
ask this
quickly. Yeah.
like, first.
So my ex-husband was my high school sweetheart. So I was young, but I would still get sick. So he was like, why you always sick? That's all, I have sickle cell. Do you know what that sickle cell is? So we had a conversation, and I was just like, do you guys have sickle cell in your family? He was like, oh no. I said, well, just ask your mom to make sure. He was like, no, we don't have sickle cell. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's how that conversation went. Yeah. But because I do have SS, my kids are both carriers.
I realized until I got to that panel, I had no idea about the personal side of sickle cell. And when I tell you my eyes were opened, I was like, oh my gosh, this whole entire, I knew what I do the testing for sickle cell, clinical side of sickle cell. I got it. Yeah. Personal, like everyday side of sickle cell, it didn't even like come to my mind. Have you had any experience with any infections?
So it could be a cold that lingers too long that I don't treat. My kids will get a cold, they'll take over-the-counter cough medicine, and they're fine. Now, if I get a cold and after 10 days it's still lingering, then I start getting chest pains. Then, okay, let's go to the hospital. Oh, you have pneumonia, or you have acute chest syndrome. So it just can go south really fast.
So I guess what advice do you have someone who's been newly diagnosed with sickle cell?
Advice I said to them, and I'll say to anybody who has a kid, is just, God is good, God is gracious, and although it sucks, like, there's so much technology now, and there's so much new things, especially if you're born here and you get tested, as a baby. There's so much things you can do early on to make sure your child stay healthy. So it's just to be encouraged. I know if I was younger, I would have loved to do a bone marrow transplant as a child. So that's also, a thing they can do. Have more kids, find a perfect match, one of your siblings, and do that. Well, every parent, I feel like you're going to care for your kid for the rest of their life, right? So that kid having sickle cell is just like, you're going to be worried and care for that kid for the rest of their life. So just to extend a lot of love, a lot of grace, and just be patient with yourself, because you're going to be learning as you grow.
Is there anything that you have to say to the audience or to people around the world? I don't know if it's going to reach people around. I hope it does, but
it does. If you have sickle cell, like, it's not a death sentence. It's hard. Every day we're fighting. We're warriors, but you can do it. You may not be able to do it as fast as your partner or your siblings or your friends, but you can also do it. Find a way to do what you want to do, what makes you happy. Stress is a huge trigger, so I really try not to stress over things. If I can't control it, if I can't fix it, it's out of my hands.
Yeah.
Joy in little things. Find joy in your family, your friends, in God. Find community that matters. Be around people who you love and who love you back. And it's hard, but fight. Showing up, take your medications. Be vocal about it. Don't think like, oh, it's a death sentence. I can't tell my friends. I can't tell this person. No, let your friends know. So God forbid, if you're ever out and you get sick, they'll know how to care for you.
Right.